I feel like she's still with me in a way. I take it everywhere, everywhere.
Nationwide, tens of thousands of lives are taken by the opioid fentanyl every year. One of them, 39-year-old Amanda Nicholson in Grand Rapids.
She didn't know she was taking the deadly drug, and it led to her death, leaving her family in pieces and the alleged drug dealer facing life in prison. Newsday's Byron Tollefson talked with Amanda's family about the toll it's taken on them and authorities about the growing problem.
Kind of hard.
Shayna Nicholson keeps a piece of her big sister Amanda everywhere she goes.
It's Amanda. It's her ashes. And this is the ring that she was wearing when she passed away.
Amanda's name is engraved on her arm. She says her family has been broken since Amanda's death, a young life cut short.
My father, he's not the type of man to cry. All he does is cry anymore. We don't celebrate family holidays anymore because she's not there. My mom, she doesn't talk about it. If she talks about it, she cries.
Like so many in West Michigan and nationwide, 39-year-old Amanda Nicholson was trapped in a drug addiction. But for a long time, Shayna says Amanda was clean and took care of her. She says Amanda was her rock.
She was a really good sister. She always made sure I was taken care of, always made sure I got everything that I needed.
Amanda's mother, Doris, says the last few years of her life, she suffered from depression and anxiety and didn't get the care she needed. According to court records, police say in February of 2023, Amanda bought heroin from a Muskegon man named Edric Tornes. Little did she know it was laced with fentanyl.
It was in a home in this Northwest Grand Rapids neighborhood where Amanda overdosed. Her family says her own daughter, just 4 years old at the time, was the one who found her passed out in her bathroom.
It was pretty traumatic. I got the call on Valentine's Day that she had overdosed and that she was in the hospital.
Amanda was in critical condition, but showed signs of improvement when Shayna visited her in the hospital.
I left that night. I thought she was gonna pull through. And then I got a call that night telling me that she was completely brain dead and there was nothing more that they could do.
A toxicology report, according to court records, later confirmed that Amanda died of a fentanyl overdose.
I pretty much just closed myself off to everybody. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I just stuck to myself.
An undercover officer using Amanda's phone later set up a drug deal with Tornes, took him into custody, and found that the heroin he was selling tested positive for fentanyl. Tornes was later charged with delivery-controlled substance causing death, a felony that carries a sentence of up to life in prison. The case has yet to go to trial. His attorney, a public defender, did not respond to News 8's request for comment.
What do you hope happens?
I hope he gets life. I mean, our family's struggling. Our family's the one that has to struggle through it. I just hope he gets life. He took my sisters, so.
This is an extremely serious offense.
Kent County Prosecutor Chris Becker says the felony charge his office is pursuing against Tornes, carrying up to life in prison, is rare. It's just one of 2 of those cases this year, and his office had none last year. Often, he charges suspects with a lesser crime, delivery of a controlled substance, carrying up to 15 years behind bars. Unlike the Tornes case, Becker says it can be difficult to go through phone records and tie a drug to a specific dealer.
It's behind closed doors and police don't see it and you don't have any witnesses, so it's a circumstantial case you kind of build.
Locally, the Kent County Health Department says overdose deaths have dropped slightly, with 108 overdose deaths in 2022 and then 93 in 2023. But a national study last year, led by the University of California, Los Angeles, found that overdose deaths from fentanyl-laced stimulants have risen 50-fold since 2010. From 235 deaths in 2010 to more than 34,000 deaths in 2021. Fentanyl continues to drive a nationwide opioid crisis, with nearly 108,000 overdose deaths last year, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Sometimes people think that they're buying heroin or something that's maybe not quite as lethal. In fact, most of what's called heroin on the street is actually, fentanyl, which is highly lethal and very dangerous to our citizens.
Richard Pastor heads the Southwest Enforcement Team for Michigan State Police, which focuses on catching drug dealers putting these lethal drugs on our streets. His team sees fentanyl laced in many drugs.
Sometimes it's even possible for someone who believes that they're buying a different drug completely, such as cocaine or methamphetamine, In some cases, there have been instances where those drugs have also been laced with fentanyl.
The end result leaves families devastated. Amanda's mother says she had a contagious smile that lit up a room, and she was a good mother to her daughter. She was an organ and tissue donor. Before she was taken off life support, her mother says hospital staff made sure they were all donated.
And she deserves justice.
Shayna doesn't plan on missing a minute in court against the man charged in her death.
I don't want to miss it. I want to know what the outcome is, and I want to be there for her.
In Grand Rapids, Byron Tollefson, News 8.